Every moment is unique.
Think about it.
What I love to think about this is it's a puzzle.
Pick the red card.
And each of every one of us is an integral piece.
I show you how to keep the
Once we're all together,
all for one.
so let's just see
One for all.
the big picture.
Bring the pieces back together.
I want to take as many people with me as I possibly can.
The people have the power.
The central self, you could call it God, you could call it anything you like. It's all of us. It's playing all the parts, all beings whatsoever, everywhere and anywhere.
All we have to do is awaken the power in the people.
You are ready to wake up.
And here we go.
What's up, all you beautiful motherfuckers? It's Duck back up in this bitch, come to give you another update. So, in the past few weeks, we've all been quarantined. The whole United States has been put on a shutdown. In fact, it's been a global shutdown, as a matter of fact. It's been quite the scare. At first, it almost seemed like a conspiracy or kind of fake, because it came on so strong, it just came out of nowhere. I mean, one day we were just working, living everyday normal life, and then all of a sudden, bam, it just hits. It's 7:18. Shout out. Yo, Keegan. That's my dude. Anyways, it's all love up in this motherfucker. So, I was looking into some of the pandemics, or as I like to call it, the Plandemix, because it was planned. I was saying it's kind of like a conspiracy. Who knows if it is or not, if it was planned by the government, if it was... I mean, obviously they said that it came from this one spot in Wuhan, China. And chances are they're right about that. Why it's kind of suspicious is China now has like no reported deaths. Not no reported, I shouldn't say that. It's dropped way down to almost none. Like, they contained it the right way. From what I was reading, though, is that a bunch of the Wuhan officials didn't want word getting out that it started from them, so they lied for a couple weeks first just to not get a bad name on their place, I guess. I'm not quite sure how that works, but I hear that's kind of what we did as well. When it all happened, Trump, he started to act like nothing was happening. When on a global scale it was big, here in the US first it was just kind of like a far off myth. Like, yeah, that might happen here, but, you know, whatever. And then as of now, it's just blown up where it's everywhere. Anywhere that has international airports. So here in Denver, it's pretty bad. Actually, from what it says right here is that as of today, confirmed cases in Colorado are just under 5,000 with 140 deaths. That's just in Colorado. In the United States, right now, we are at roughly 350,000 confirmed cases with just under 10,000 confirmed deaths. Right here it says that in the United States, about 17,000 have confirmed that they recovered from the illness, that they have it, and that it's gone away. On a global scale, as of right now, I should mention that today is the 5th of April, 2020. Global cases as of today is just over 1 million. It's 1.3 million confirmed cases with just under 70,000 deaths that were confirmed and about 250,000 recovered. So a lot of people are getting sick. Yes, a lot of them are recovering, but it's still killing off a pretty high percentage. Last I heard, it was roughly about 3% of people who got it die from it. And that's 3% of anyone, like any age group. They say infants, it's like infants to 12 is the smallest group, but anywhere from 13 to 40, there's a little bit. It's like 20% come from that area, and then 25 come between 40 and 60, and then the rest come from older. So what that tells us is obviously it's killing off the older people first, and it's killing off the people with underlying illnesses. But what's crazy is that it's actually killing young people as well. So it's been quite a thing. People are afraid that it's going to become the next Spanish flu, which happened in 1918, which around the world killed roughly, they're thinking anywhere between 50 and 100 million people. That's just estimations because so many people died. They just threw them in holes and backfilled the dirt and just moved on, apparently. But they're guessing that was roughly 20 to 25% of the world's population. So that's like 1 in 4 or 5 people dying, which is crazy. Like, that is absolutely nuts. And what blows my mind the most about that is they didn't have airplanes back then, so they weren't traveling as quickly. So the fact that the disease was traveling overseas pretty quick means that it lasted a long time. It could make it over on the boats or things that were shipped. From what I hear today, it only lasts on cardboard. The COVID-19, it only lasts on cardboard for like 12 hours, 6 to 12 hours. So on boxes, if you were to send a package or receive a package from someone who has this disease, chances are you're not going to get the disease. More likely than not. But regardless, what this has done to our society today and age is we're all on a shutdown. They're telling you not to go outside unless it's mandatory. Businesses are being shut down for a month up to 2 months just because of spreading the disease. The restaurants that I go to and eat, they're not open right now. Most of them you can still do takeout, but I know these businesses are going to be hurting, and any one of them that is on the edge of going into bankruptcy, that's kind of who you've got to worry about, is because there's going to be a lot of small businesses closing down, like small mom and pop shop eateries, grocery stores, convenience stores. Those will all have a hard time recovering. And that was kind of leading back to why it could be some sort of conspiracy in a sense, is this isn't really hurting businesses where they, have cushion money, where they've got, billions of dollars. I guess it does affect them in a sense, like it definitely does. But I'm sure the business bailout money will come before the individual bailout money. As of last week, I believe it was, they signed a stimulus package that should reward every adult American, was it $1,200 a month until the shutdown's done? Which, I mean, is good. For someone like me, I could definitely use an extra $1,200, and I mean, who the fuck couldn't? But for someone who's like lost their job or lost their business, that it doesn't really do it justice at all. It's kind of fucked up. And man, I'm just really feeling for all the people right now, because my life is fine. Nothing really changed. I liked kicking it inside and making music and writing and seeing what I could do in my room, in my head, in my, creative space. And so for me, this is kind of just like, oh, okay, I get extra time in my creative space. That's awesome. Which, I mean, for someone like me, that's very fortunate. Obviously, I'm at the healthiest point of my life. So even if I got the disease right now, I could probably just chill in my room for a couple weeks and I'd be good to go. The people who I am worried about right now are people like my grandma or her husband, Marv. They're both my elders and both with health problems. So they are completely contained down to their room, not going out for any reason. And I can't blame them. I've given them phone calls just to, make sure they're still doing okay. Because in this world, you never know. And I just want to make most of this precious little time I have, which is the reason I'm even talking to you right now. Is it's like, if there's any moment I could save for any reason, whether I save, you know, a song that I made or a poem that I wrote, or I just have always been about documenting my existence. And I believe that's really strong in the human population right now. And honestly, it's one of the best things you could do. It, in a sense, immortalizes yourself. Obviously not immortalized, because eventually no one will listen to this and this will just be lost in the depths of the cyber web, the big cloud. But I mean, all in all, it's good just to have this for the people that I know. You know, shout out to anyone who is listening right now. I love you the most. You guys are the best. And another thing, I've always wanted to be able to have a recording of me from that time period, you know, almost like a bookmark, so that, you know, one day when I'm like 65 years old, I could just like pull up this recording and listen to myself and be like, oh my God, that was me back then. That's how I thought. That's how I talked. These are the type of topics, the issues that were going on. And I just think that's really important. You know, it's, especially since we're moving into this digital age, the future is definitely going to be very robotic, very, you know, we're already one with our cell phones. You can't really take cell phones away from most people. I mean, myself included, I do better without social media and stuff like that. But that's not to say I would do great without a cell phone. I use a cell phone for many things that are not social networking. You know, just searching the web for, you know, information like, oh, I want to know how many people are dying from this COVID-19, you know, this pandemic, this plandemic. They're calling it the coronavirus, which I found out recently, this is not the only coronavirus. Coronavirus is like a type of virus. This is the COVID-19, because apparently there's been other coronaviruses spread through the years. It's kind of like a flu where it mutates and then it re-hits the population. So that's kind of what we're watching with China right now, is after all their cases fell off, is it going to have a second wave? Because that's a lot of what happens with these flus, and I'm pretty sure that's just due to the mutation. Is, you know, now there's a new, bigger, better strain of it, and your body has only fought off the last strain, so you're about to get fucked. And that's real. But shit, every once in a while I'll you know, kick back, put my feet up. The most recent two things I've gotten down on, the most recent, Breaking Bad, which I think I had mentioned that wasn't that recent. I finished that a little while ago. I honestly, so Breaking Bad is an amazing television show. If anyone hasn't watched it, definitely make sure to. I am not huge on TV shows. That's why I kind of say this is like, if I like it, chances are you will like it, because I'm very, very picky on my TV shows. If it's not a comedy show that can just, you know, I can zone out to, you know, Rick and Morty or fucking, you know, Family Guy and shit. But just in a sense of actual TV shows, it's just, it takes so much time to watch a show. So if I like it, chances are whoever made that did a great job. And Breaking Bad's one of those, start to finish, just a fucking phenomenal show. Same with the movie that followed it, El Camino. Shout out to Jesse Pinkman and Heisenberg, both y'all motherfuckers. But the most recent one I've gotten on, this is something that, again, has been around for a long time. It's ironic I'm just getting to these, but American Horror Story. And I got through, they had 8 seasons on Netflix, and I got through those. Those are fucking great seasons, all of them. What's great about that show is every season is its own mini series. And that's perfect for someone like me who, that's the reason I can't sit down and follow a TV show, is I just get bored of the concept. So to have like 10 episodes of one concept and then the switch, I'm like, oh, that's perfect. But that's just who I am. Music wise, I like that too. I've never liked one genre. I'll bounce around, listen to everything. And then you'll have bands like head PE where that is what they do. They literally just bounce around, and they're everything from punk to rock to metal to rap to reggae. And that's kind of the shit I like, is just, you know, why should it be one type? We should blend all this shit. Make a super genre of love. Yada I mean. Ha ha. But fuck yeah, man. So when I went out, when was that? That was 2 days ago. We took my car to my uncle's house so that it gets a new engine. That's another thing I've been dealing with, not having a car. Fuck, does that suck. I forgot how that is. Holy shit. But what I was gonna say about that is when I was out, I saw tons of people wearing masks. And from what I've seen in the stores I've gone to, is a lot of the grocery stores and gas stations, they'll have like plastic sheets put up between people so that you're not breathing in each other's face. Like at the cashier desk at a gas pump, there's like a plastic sheet except for a little space at the bottom that you could slide stuff underneath. And that's just kind of how it's gonna be. My dad told me at Lowe's, you know, when you're in line, they have lines on the ground so you're 6 feet apart from the next people in line. And so all of this, and I'm just thinking, will that stop it? I mean, it could slow it. The mask is a pretty good idea, I would say, just because you're not breathing outward or inward like directly. It's all through that filter. But I mean, I'm sure it could still get through that. The 6 feet thing, I really don't think that's a thing, just because when I'm smoking, when I smoke weed or I smoke my vape, I can see the smoke go further than 6 feet. So I know that my breath when I'm breathing is going more than 6 feet. So honestly, it's almost like best option would be just for us all to get it and, you know, kind of just get through it. But I guess that's not the smartest way, because that's how the most people die. What we've been trying to do as the human species right now is a pretty good idea, is the moment you know it's entered your country, shut the country down for 2 weeks immediately. And the reason being is the earlier you stop the spread, the less it's going to spread in the long run. Once it's already, you know, because there's a doubling effect. After 4 days, there's double the amount of people with it. So if you cut that number short in the beginning, it has a harder time of reaching the masses. Whereas, you know, if you do it after it's already doubled, then good luck. But that's what we're learning. And so I think, in my opinion, Trump's decision was not a good one. For the record, I am not pro nor against Trump in a sense. It's like kind of just for myself, an anarchist. I don't believe in a master. So it's like some of the things he does is good and some bad. I'll be honest, a lot is bad, including how he responded to this virus, as he spent the first 2 weeks just denying that it was even happening. And I'm like, come on, man. You can't just deny it. I mean, I get it, like, oh, fake news or whatever his fucking spiel is, his Fox News repeatal. That fucking bastard. But, I mean, really, if it's a real threat, and we saw it on a global scale before it hit here, that's my thing, is like, if we hadn't seen it first, it would make sense for him to be like, oh, you know, that's not that big of a deal. But the thing was, we had seen it take over countries, like at least two different countries, China and Italy. Italy was the first country to get put on a full country lockdown. They said everywhere in Italy had it, complete lockdown. This has been locking people in where they are. Like, say you were on a vacation over there when this all started going down. I mean, what do you really fucking do? You're just stuck there now. They're not gonna let you leave until this is all cleared up. So I get it. This is big shit. But another big thing that's happening, even though there's probably more happening behind the scenes, let's leave that at that. But something that I've seen with physical evidence is stuff like this, is our president wants our mask making companies to stop sending them overseas to help places like China and Italy so that we can have more for ourselves because we already don't have enough. And it's like, okay, that makes sense. Let's not give them over there so we can have more so our people are safe. But what I didn't realize upon first speculation is that if you do something like that, say China is expecting a shipment of like, you know, 500,000 masks or something like that, and you said, fuck that, we're just giving it to our people. Well, they're going to be mad. They're going to be really mad. And so what they're going to do is they're not going to give you one of their goods. So like, say China comes up with the cure for this disease. If China came up with the pills that fix this disease and we didn't give them their fucking masks, then they're gonna be like, well, fuck you, you're not getting our pills. And I was like, damn, that is a very good point. When I thought of it like that, it was just like, you know what, we gotta share, even if it leaves us short-handed. Sometimes you have to, you know, make do for the greater good of all. Something that Trump himself, or at least the congregation behind them, what did they call it in American Horror Story? The cooperative, which is just another name for the Illuminati. It's the rich 1%. That's all one and the same, and I agree fully with that. But anyways, beside the point, they have their own agenda. Totally. It's about money, and, you know, these aren't the people dying, the richest people. It's kind of why I've been afraid for some sort of apocalypse to happen. Ironic is how we, the people, responded to this was almost as if it was an apocalyptic event. Because the moment this happened, people were, you know, rummaging the stores. There was no more toilet paper, no more hand sanitizer. People just went and, like, there was lines to the back of the store everywhere. People went fucking nuts. And I mean, yeah, it's good to be prepared in case everything shut down, then we have a little bit of food. But it just kind of showed me that most people are prepared for this world to shut down. Or at least they're expecting it to, planning on it to. So this might just be the first wave of events to come. And I mean, Joe Rogan put it best, is if you were to, you know, not saying this is a conspiracy, I don't know, but if it was, if you were reading about a conspiracy theory that took out another country, it wouldn't be surprising to think of it as like, oh yeah, the government just released a deadly disease upon their people so that they could just take over. Yeah, that's a very big possibility. What do they call that? Chemical warfare? That's a real thing. And I mean, that's all it could really take is, you know, to keep the population down. Which is, you know, that's a double-edged sword. There's a positive kind of, it's like, yeah, it would be easier to live after there was less people because there's more space. But on the downfall, it's going to be the rich 1% who owns all of this. So it's not like the game's going to change. It's just going to be, they're easy to control you now because there's way less people. But beside the point, that kind of reminded me, I was looking up recently, is the Georgia Guidestones, which I don't know if you listening know what the Georgia Guidestones are, but you know, take a moment, look them up if you want to. But they were put into place on my birthday, 3/22 of 1980, and we call them American Stonehenge. And it's because it's these big rocks that were put into place, and on them, I think it's 7 or 8 different languages, but all the languages basically say, we are going to keep the population under 500 million. I'm pretty sure that means for the United States, not for the world, just because the United States right now, as I speak, we're at like 330 million people. So my guess would be keep the American population under 500 million. But because we're going to get to that quicker and quicker, there's going to be more and more things put into place to kind of, you know, take more people out. I'm not saying this is one of them, but they've definitely shown that that's a possibility that could happen at any given point of time. Fucking scary. Let me grab my vape. There you are. So, how this all started in my world, in the world of Duckland, we'll call this place. So, we were, let's see, me and John had just gone skiing, and we were hitting the jumps, and we left early. So this is how it happened for me, is we left that day early. Usually we'd stay right up till 8 p.m. skiing, which is night skiing. It's the best. Anyways, minus the ice, but beside the point. So it's a lot of fun, and we'll go do that. And we were doing that, and we're like, oh, we should stay till 8. And this was the first time we'd ever left super early. It was like 5:30 or 6 maybe. And we're like, let's get the fuck out of here. We'll be back next week. And the next week we're planning on going up 2 or 3 days. We're going to get a hotel for 1 or 2 nights, which John had actually already fucking got the room. That was so crazy. But then right at that moment, that's when the fucking disease hit. And then all of a sudden they closed down the fucking mountains for the rest of the season. I mean, they didn't say that immediately. At first it was like, we're shutting down for 2 weeks. And then I got another email like 2 days later, like, we're shutting down for the rest of the year. And it was like, holy fuck. We were just planning on going up there and being up there for like 3 days in a row. And all of a sudden we're not even going to be able to ski anymore this season. Blew my fucking mind, pissed me the fuck off. But the exciting part is that they might open Breckenridge come the end of April. But we will see, because the order right now for the stay at home is until... Is it the end of April or is it the end of May? It's April into May or even mid-May. I know that they've extended it a few times. So this, I mean, it ruined my birthday, kind of. I still had a great birthday, but it ruined aspects of me going and hitting the town or doing something crazy. And then it also is ruining this, like, spring going into summer, which really fucking sucks. It's been keeping me locked up indoors, feeling all ravenous and fucking wild and shit. But yeah, there's one thing I do to keep myself, kind of entertained is I got into a good workout routine more recently. I've done it throughout the years. I kind of like pick it up, put it down, pick it up. But I've been on this kick for quite a bit longer, and I feel very confident that it's going to stay that way. The reason I had not stayed with it before is I like get back into cigarettes, or I drink, and then stuff like that. But lately I haven't been drinking, I haven't been smoking cigarettes, so my body feels great, and because of it I work out at least 3 to 4 times a week, and then I jog for 30 minutes probably 4 to 5 days a week. And I've been doing that for like 2 or 3 months straight, like solid. And I feel amazing. I absolutely feel like the best condition of my life. So that's a definite plus that's come out of this whole situation, is I've kind of regrouped myself, So been staying in the shape, keeping it feeling good, doing it right, living it the right way. Or as right as I could possibly do it, during this plandemic. Hope everyone out there is staying safe, using that soap and shit. Let's see, as of right now, I don't know anyone who's gotten the sickness, which I am so grateful for. That is my biggest fear, is that I'm gonna get a call, the ultimate biggest fear would be hearing that my grandma has it, or any of my grandma or my dad. Fuck that. Or my mom. Fuck. Once I keep going, it's like, I don't want my friends to have it either, or my cousins, or anyone. I just hope no one has it. But it's really fucked some shit up. So my cousin Jimmy, he moved to Florida not too long ago, and his job literally stopped running, so that he had to fucking get unemployment just because of this stupid fucking disease. It's not even his fault. We've all made mistakes where it's like, I've lost a job because it's my fault and yada yada. This is 0%, his fault. And he's stuck having to fucking deal with that. And I just feel so bad for the dude, because it's like, that ain't the way this shit should be. This dude just moved to another state to like reinvent himself. And now he's, you know, worried if he's gonna survive. And I think that's kind of where this is putting a lot of Americans right now is what the fuck do we do? You know, luckily most businesses, especially for most of my friends, that all the businesses were deemed necessary, or, you know, is that the word? It's a necessity. Anyways, it's a business that can't be shut down. Like a grocery store. I know people who work grocery stores. I know people who work like Lowe's, UPS, weed industry. All of them are still going, luckily. So shout out to all the real motherfuckers who keep going through all this bullshit. Because I don't think the World Health Organization is really fitting to help us out right now. The WHO? Yeah. Who are they? Those motherfuckers? No, I'm just kidding. If you or anyone you know is in the healthcare field of any kind, those are the true heroes right now, because they are literally putting their life into danger just to make people not sick, or, you know, to keep them from being sick, or just everything. They are on the front lines of the fucking battlefield. Even like, I'd say grocery store workers would be right behind them. It's like, you know, all the medical, you know, people, ambulances, stuff like that. Those are the first people who are in the line of fucking, what would you call that? In the line of duty. And then it goes, you know, grocery stores and fucking convenience stores. What is this going to create for our future? How is this going to be perceived by our future generations? It's going to be remembered. That is one thing for sure. This is going to go down in history for a while, just because of how it changed everything. This is the first time that anyone I know has heard of things going on lockdown. Even, you know, my grandma said that this has never happened before. So that's the scary part, is we're in new territory. And it's not about the sick, because yeah, it's scary to get sick. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to get sick. I don't want anyone I know to get sick. But at the same time, it's just a sickness. It'll come, you'll feel shitty, it'll leave. Hopefully you don't infect more people. But what it's really going to do is, how do we financially recover from this? What's going to happen? You know, is this going to kill off some little businesses because they don't get money from the government, bailout or stimulus money to keep their fucking business going? You know, what if they have to pay a lease on the building, and then the government just said, oh, your business is not a necessity, you got shut down for a month or two? You're not going to make that payment. There's no way you just have that money hidden aside. Some people do, don't get me wrong, but most people don't just have that money waiting there for a time like that. And in my opinion, I would, I hope the government helps them out, because maybe make it so the building allows you to skip a month or two of payments because you're not allowed to run as a business. See, all this creates fucking stress for a lot of people, not even me, because I live one of the least stressful lives on this planet, and it still stresses me out. You know what I'm saying? I really feel for little businesses. I feel for people who worked for those. I have an aunt who worked for a small time, like a Japanese mom and pop eatery. And, they started talking about moving back to Japan when all this started happening. They weren't going to be able to make it through this. So what happens to people like that? Is that kind of the plan here, is take out some of the littler guys and all the big guys will survive, so don't worry about them? That's the shittiest way to approach that. Why would you, I don't know. We'll see, what the future brings. I can't say for certain. One thing I do know is that, fate is what you make. I believe there is a certain thing as like fate or destiny, but that only like brings you to the door. the choice to open the door or not is still up to you, hence why there's not full fate or destiny. Yes, to an extent they're both true, and to an extent they're both not true, in a sense. My opinion. Hold up one sec. I think I'm gonna take a little quick dab. It's dab 30, bitches. Dab 30, bitch. Alright, so let's see. Where are you at? Oh, yeah. We got the goods today. We got a birthday gift from the homie Crix. This dude got me some of the good shit. Got me some live resin. It's Gorilla Glue number 4 mixed with skunk berry. Says that THC percentage is 68%. Very nice. Very, very nice. So, another thing going on in my world right now is I'm reading Walden by Henry David Thoreau, and then I'm gonna follow it with Civil Disobedience. I cannot stress enough how important these fucking books are. These are some of those books that every kid should read. There's a bunch of those, like Lord of the Flies, 1984. I mean, I could go on and on, list goes on. But Walden is about this guy in the 1840s who was fed up with society and decided that he was going to build a house on a pond. Walden Pond. Pause one moment. Ooh, that's the good shit right there. Alright. So, if I could get to it. God damn. Alright, so Walden Pond. Jesus Christ. Walden Pond. So he escaped society, went to Walden Pond to say fuck everything, and he built his own house. He lived off the land. He said, I don't want to be part of society. And then what ends up happening is they throw him in jail for not paying taxes on that land by the lake. And so he gets thrown in jail. And then when he gets out, he writes Civil Disobedience, which is basically like, fuck the system, but we have to live within the system. So let's find out how to crumble it from within. So Walden is the look of, fuck society, I'm getting out of society. And that's his thoughts. And then Civil Disobedience is, oh, I guess we can't escape society, so we might as well learn to live within it, but make the change from within. So it's a very, very beautiful concept. And I've enjoyed reading it. Some of the shit that dude says. Just how people talk back then. Oh my god, I sound like a fucking retard right now. I'm just saying. Know what I'm saying? What are you, the nonsensus? Say it 80, 90 times? What the fuck? Yep, Carol did it. I don't know how many of you are caught up on this shit, but Carol did the shit. And if you're a real motherfucker, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because that shit just dropped on Netflix like a week ago. Oh my god, Tiger King? That fucking dude. Oh my god, just like meth crazy family. What the fuck is up with you guys? But regardless, Carol killed her fucking husband. I mean, evidence pointed to it pretty specifically. Is like, she was married to a rich guy and he's about to leave her. He was moving to Costa Rica with his new girlfriend. He like took all his, his tigers and his shit out to Costa Rica. And then the night before he was supposed to leave and go to Costa Rica, he just disappeared. There's not an evidence of where he went. There's not a recorded plane flight. He owned his own plane, but he couldn't have made it to Costa Rica. That's like what they're saying is you would have to stop and refuel 4 times, so it's not possible. So this dude literally just went missing, and some of the theories are maybe she grinded him up in her meat grinder and then fed him to the tigers, or, I'm sure she could have like dumped him in the river or something. I don't know what happened, but it was sketchy as fuck. And her new husband seemed so afraid of her. I was like, oh yeah. Oh, that bitch did it for sure. For sure that bitch did it. But that's not to say that the Tiger King wasn't a douchebag either. Let's be real, is like, I'm not really on his side either. I love the cats. I would love to live his lifestyle. But that dude was batshit crazy. That dude had like 4 or 5 husbands throughout different times, and one of them shot himself like at work in front of a couple of the employees. And oh my god, the shit goes on. And they talk about how they're, you know, they're stuck doing meth. That was like their thing, is they just all did meth together. And then it turns out all his boyfriends weren't gay. They all like had girlfriends and got other girls pregnant. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This shit gets wild. This is like, where the fuck did they live? Like, where the fuck, Missouri? Let me look it up. I'm gonna be hurting if I don't fucking know what that is. Let's see, where is Tiger King? It's like some Nebraska, Missouri, Mississippi, Louisiana. Let's see, where? Alright. Let's see. Well, he's in jail now. That's what it says. But he was in Oklahoma, which, yeah, that's, again. I didn't name Oklahoma, but goddamn, you fit right in with those other ones. But, man, so this dude just had... He had, like, what, 700 animals? Big cats, and I don't know what else he fucking had, like gators and shit. He had fucking crazy. He had like a wild animal farm, and they would just party it up. The lifestyle did kind of sound cool, but I mean, the problem with owning a baby tiger is it grows up. I mean, it's fucking cute for like, yeah, a year or whatever, and then the rest of its life, it's like this big, huge fucking animal. So, yeah, it'd be really hard to live that lifestyle. I would really want to prefer to go and live like Steve Irwin did and just go do it in the fucking wild and shit. But the moral of the story is Carol did it, and meth is an acceptable form of payment, according to him. Oh my god, that shit was running rampant. Those fuckers are crazy. You're crazy. You crazy. I like you. But you crazy. You crazy. Ha ha! Oh, just to fuck with your ears. Just to tickle your ear pussies for a sec. You like that one? Oh, yeah. You like it like that, don't you? Oh, what else has been new in the daily world of Duck? Oh, I started reading these Lock and Key comic books. It's also a show. That shit is fantastic. That's the son of Stephen King, I found out. I didn't know that when I first got into it, but the guy who wrote it is Stephen King's son. So it's like, oh yeah, no wonder it's fucking amazing. It's both those guys are, you know, just the spark of insight there. It's phenomenal. Yes. So that's the way we do it. So if my Uncle Jack helped you off a horse, would you help my Uncle Jack off a horse? You're a sick fucker, aren't you? You a sick fuck. Yeah, man, almost as sick as those fuckers running this goddamn country, man. I'm sick of those fuckers. And, I mean, I'm not saying every politician is bad. Pretty much, though. It's the people buying opinions, and because of how everything's run, where everyone wants to be the richest, we want to have the most power, and the most power comes from the most money, then the people with the most money can buy motherfuckers' opinions. So if they want a law changed in their goddamn way, they'll make it happen. And that's the bullshit of how this thing fucking works, is the American people don't get a true choice. I mean, we get a choice, but it's not it's, you know, it's an illusion of choice is what it is we're gonna give you the fake left or the fake right, and it's like, oh, somewhere that's right is in the middle, you know, somewhere, or, you know, what is right, it lies in the middle somewhere. I'm not an expert of where that is or whatever, but I do know that, you know, what they're doing to the people is showing the stupid donkey or the elephant, and you got to make a choice. And if you don't make a choice, shame on you, because your opinion matters. And if we don't have you to our votes, then, you're not good for us, or, it's just like, what the fuck, man? That's not how this works. It's like, I can be in the middle and realize they're both retarded. Like, choosing the lesser of two evils is still choosing evil. And so I choose to not choose. And that pisses people off. It pisses, it's just a thing. I've brought up the South Park episode. If you haven't seen that, the turd sandwich and the giant douche, that's exactly what we deal with, is there isn't a choice. It's like an illusion of choice. And then whoever gets picked, all their opinions are bought, because unless you get someone in there who's not willing to be bought, shout out to Bernie, I swear to God, there might be a few of them in there, but most people are just, out for their own good, is the moral of it, is that everyone is out for their own good, especially in politics. So it's not a good idea to follow any one person directly. It's like you have one half telling you, we fight for the rich people, we fight to keep rich, and the other people is like, oh, we're fighting the rich so the middle class could, and it's all to trap the two types of people we have living in this country, to classify them as either one or the other. It's a simple, form of divide and conquer. Divide and Conquer was written in the fucking, The Art of War, which I've read that book. The what's it? Sue Sun, I think it's like TSUSUN, Sue Sun. The Art of War. Anyways, that was written like BC times. I swear to God, 1300 BC. Fact check. Can I get a fact check? All right, let's see. Art of War. Let's see, Art of War. It was written roughly 5th century BC. So, like 500 BC. And it's still accurate today of how to fight a war. Now, of course, nowadays we have different types of war. We have, chemical warfare. They even have, like, what would you call that? Psychic warfare or whatever, where they fuck with frequencies. That's been another thing that's been on my mind that I'm worried about, in a sense, is that I see that with the popular music, it feels like it's a frequency being put out where it's either meant to dumb people down, or it's dumb and there's a lot of dumb people and so they attract to it. I don't honestly know, but that's just how I see it. Is that there's dumb music and then there's a huge group of people who love the dumb music. So either the music dumbs the people down, or the people are already dumb before so they like the dumb music. I don't know which one it is, but my theory is that they put a frequency in there that fucking, like, mind controls you into being an idiot so that you go to jail or you buy stupid shit. That's really, like, the thing, is buying shit. Like, oh, I gotta wear the designer clothes. Oh, I gotta have the coolest car and the coolest this. And what you're doing is you're paying into the fucking system. That's what the system wants you to do. The system doesn't like people like me that's content to not have the top end shit. I mean, there's certain things I want top end shit in, don't get me wrong, I definitely do, but, like, I don't care about the clothes I wear. It doesn't have to be a $50 fucking t-shirt. It's a t-shirt. Like, fuck, man, I'll take hand-me-downs, goddamn, if it looks good enough. I'm gonna take your grandpa's style. Now, for real, ask your grandpa, can I have his hand-me-downs? Son. That's the Quack Attack is back, bitch. I want to say, man, today was a good fucking day. Like, I get a lot more of those in the recent times than I had there for a while. Like, I went through a dark phase, and luckily I've been coming out of that and having tons of good days. But today was like the epitome of a good day. Let me explain. So today I made 2 fucking songs. They were already written, to be fair. Today I recorded them and edited them. I don't think I'll need further editing beyond this point. I could probably, but I think I'm just gonna leave them as is. I also finished writing this short novella that I was writing, which, man, that's been a long time coming. It took me 2 years to write this little book. It will be out to the public one day, I think. Methinks. Let me read you a passage. Let me find one. I didn't have one placed. All right. I wake up. You are soundly sleeping in the comfort of my arms. Daisy is curled up by your feet. Rara is purring by my face. My first thought is, I'm home. I kiss you and I say, baby, wake up. You say, give me 10 more minutes. For the third fucking time. Wake your ass up. It's noon o'clock. So I start to make breakfast. I see you yawn as you walk into the kitchen. We're both chilling naked. Scrambled eggs, hash brown, and smoothies. Then we Netflix and brunch, still nude. We share a joint for dessert and make some mid-morning love. Then we pop some Pinot Grigio and take a fat-ass dab. It's the best fucking day ever. All of a sudden, I hear my alarm clock. I wake up. Just a little excerpt. Anyways. Just from a peace of mind in the time of duck. I think it's the year of the duck. Holy fuck. You're in luck, dude. Holy fuck. You're in luck. It's the year of the duck. We gonna do this shit, man. 2020 it up. 2020 vision. Love or fear what's inside. It's all your decision. Time to come alive. See? Getting that shit. It's gonna be happening, man. So, for those who haven't heard yet, I dropped that fucking D2. That dropped on my birthday this year. That's 20 brand new fucking tracks. My second, full piece. It's still a mixtape. It's like an LP, but it's a mixtape still. But it's my second full-length mixtape, and then I did a short 3-song one before. So I have 3 albums now. The first one being Ink, which is Imagination Creation. The second one, which is The Mighty Duck. And then this new one, which is D2. And it features a couple of tracks that I think, you know, a good handful of people out there will like. Man, I'm making that shit for the whole world, though. You're gonna see one day. My goal is to have everyone on this bitch at least like one song of mine. That's all I give a shit about. If I have one song that sits on your playlist, you know, for the next 100 years, each and every one of you, man, that'd be the ultimate. See, to me, that's what's the most important, is getting my music to the people. I didn't really care to get paid for the music. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would love to make music or make these podcasts and just be able to work from home or to work at my pace, because I don't need a ton of money to be happy. Money is not what makes me happy. Yes, I do need money so I can have my own place, so I can get my own equipment. There are things I can use the money for, but money isn't the reason. The reason is I want the world, you know, to love me in a sense. I mean, who doesn't want that? Obviously, we all want to be accepted by the herd, but just in a sense of, I want people to see who I truly am, and I want to connect with each and every individual being that I can on my pathway through this life. Because if I make an impact on every person that I come into contact with, or at least, you know, half of them, then I can leave this place a better place than it was before it was when I started. And that's just the ultimate goal, is this place has to be a touch better because I was here. And I'm gonna do it any way that I possibly can. So, man, you're in luck, man. Duck is here. So just let me up, or hit me up. Let me know what's good. That's what I'm saying. 813. Use my boy. That's funny. On this podcast, I hit 718 and 313. And if I stick around for another 27 minutes, I'll hit 830, 830. You a low-key hero from the days where I had no De Niro. That's these days still, unfortunately. But that's gonna change one day. I see it in my future. I'm gonna fucking rock this shit. I know you know this, man. Can feel it. Are you ready? You gonna fly with me. We gonna fly together. Because if there's something I've come into realization about recently, is that, you know, everything is kind of a cult. If you have a musician and tons of people following that musician's lifestyle, that's like a cult in a sense. Not saying that it's exactly a cult, but it's basically the same thing. As you have a bunch of devoted followers who would give anything for that person, and that works with the president. The president's like a cult. The police force, football teams, that could be like a cult. It's like a cult of personality in a sense, is that when a bunch of people with the same personality come together, it's kind of like a cult. So what I decided, what came to my mind, this is an original ass fucking thought right here, is I'm gonna lead. This is all right. So my purpose on life, or purpose in life, is to lead a cult of cult leaders. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna lead a cult showing people how to lead cults, motherfucker. And then we're all gonna be badasses, and you can't stop any of us. Loser! Oh, you son of a bitch. You gonna get bitch slapped today. Oh, man, I got my friends. I got my weed. That's all that I really ever need, man. With a little bit of coffee, indeed. It's time to fucking plant a seed. Let's see. So our soggy Cheeto in a suit that we call a president, that dude is the oldest president we've ever had, right? And the people running against him are older than him. So no matter what president gets elected next, they will be the oldest president we've ever had. And I'm thinking this is not the way to go. we shouldn't be picking the oldest people. I don't think we should be picking young people either. There's like a line, like, I'm still kind of stupid, but I'm getting to that point where I see worldly issues. And I think there's a correct point from like maybe 35 or 40 up to like 55, maybe 60. It's just like there hits a point where your brain's not working, it's not firing as fast as it used to, and also you're a touch out of tune with the times. You're a touch out of the zeitgeist. You may know what's going on, but you're not like in the middle of what's going on. Like Trump tweeting all the time doesn't mean he's like a teenager. It's like, that's what an old man who doesn't know how to use social media looks like. That's just my opinion, obviously, but let's be real. So we shouldn't have an older president who's less in touch with what's going on in our world today. I say we do the opposite and we get someone who's like 45 years old, maybe 50, where you're like, you're on the older side, but you're still, you know, you're one of us. Oh God, the system will never allow that. Man, you have Bernie trying to be about the people, and man, they're pushing him to the side like it is fucking nothing. Poor man. I'm like, but then they'll tell you, oh, it's your fault that, you know, people like him don't get elected because people who like Bernie are like, man, voting ain't real, and that's why he doesn't make it in. And it's like, I mean, that's kind of true in a sense, but we've learned with the Electoral College that you can lose the popular vote and still win the presidency. And that's now happened twice that I know of. Like in my lifetime, it's happened twice. That's not good. And what I mean by is Trump lost the popular vote, which is the people, the average everyday Joe American, he lost by 3 million in the popular vote. So 3 million less people voted for him, but he had more votes from the Electoral College. So he's president. And to me, one vote should equal one vote. Fuck, having a goddamn Electoral College. They do that it's a way to rig the game is what that is. They've completely rigged this stupid fucking game. And that's what I think pisses my generation off the most. The reason why we're so ready just to drop this fucking game. Which wouldn't end well for our side either. So I don't foresee that being the way we go either. That's kind of just the whole thing to this is how do you go about this? Because technically, what the problem is in this country is lobbyism, which is people buying opinions. That's a huge problem because those with the most money are going to buy the opinions of the lesser, and that's just how it is. And that's just bullshit. And it's a part of the First Amendment. You can't get rid of it. It literally says in the First Amendment that lobbyism is allowed, and that's such horse shit. So you can't get rid of it. And that's kind of the problem with the game is it's money over morals. If we flip that and it was about morals, this world would be a different place. And I see it happening in my head, it can work, but I don't know how to get the physical realm to catch up, to become part of that, to become one with it. God, that's the whole thing is how do you put the need of the people over the need of the money? We wouldn't work jobs for money anymore. It's almost like it's like almost socialism in a sense of everyone should have the sufficient amount to survive. Food, water, shelter, that should all be given to you. And then everything above and beyond, is what you work for. Which it, in a sense, works like that, but they'll just kick you out on the street. And then if you're homeless, they don't give a fuck about you. And that's the problem is there should be shelter and food and water for every living being. And then everything above and beyond that, that's what you work for. So instead of making rent payments every fucking month, you're making, you're saving up for a trip, or you're working on your project. Like for me, if I had a little bit of extra income, the first things that I would do is I would buy big speakers. I would buy a keyboard, maybe some sound packs for my computer. It's not a lot of things. It's something that I can do on a reasonable thing. And that's something that I should be able to work for. But what gets irritating is that people live paycheck to paycheck. So you're making just enough to pay rent, groceries, and gas. So it's you got your car, your gas, your food, and your house, and you're broke. And that's all you can afford. And I've seen that from all the people around me, and we're considered the middle class. So this is when you're doing decent, it's like this. They say poor is way below that. That's $10,000 a year. I'll tell you, I made $10,000 last year, and there's no way I could have lived off of that. And that was without kids. So if if you have an apartment or you have kids or you got to pay a car payment, it's there's no way $10,000 would do any of that. Honestly, with how this society is right now, being broke is $20,000 to $25,000 a year, which is ironic because that's what most minimum wage jobs are. And that's considered middle class. And I just, no, we're killing off our own people. What we should be doing is benefiting people, but those who are rich and those who are doing good, they're greedy. They don't want to give it up and let other people experience the life that they've done, which I've done before. I've definitely given up positions that I worked because I seen that I topped out at what I was doing, and I wanted other people to see what it was like to live my lifestyle. So then I dropped out for them. That happened once. It may be twice, but I think once. anyways, I'm just saying that sometimes what's good for the greater whole is not what's good for the individual. And that's what we're kind of stuck on, is me instead of we. You know, if you replace I with we, even illness becomes wellness. And it's just like, it should be about how can you, when you take an individual person, if you look at an individual, you know, consciousness, a vibe, how do we give that being the best environment for it to blossom in? Because it's like a flower, right? How do we make sure that every individual on this planet has the best opportunity to bloom to their full extent? And this becomes a hard line, because if you let certain people bloom, that would be great, because if you know, that's how we get doctors and people who are super smart. But then there's also people who bloom super bad too and become serial killers and shit like that. So that it's a fine line, but I definitely think I think there would be less angry people if we put more focus into ourselves, like more maybe mental health. I don't know what the exact thing that could help would be, but just to more focus, more eyes on the individuals and less eyes on the idea of like making money, in a sense. Is if you didn't have to worry about your rent check, and so you weren't fucking people over money wise instead of helping them. And that's just the thing, is you could have a therapist who's like just doing it to make good money and not really caring about the people, or maybe he cares a little bit. I'm just saying that this is a possibility. There's other people who don't do it for the money and do it for the love of it, and those are the true motherfuckers in this world. But that should just be a thing, is there should be more of that. That should be a job. And the thing that kind of sucks is we base jobs on how much money it'll make, not how good is it for us. Because yeah, based off how good is it for us, there should be a fuck ton of mental health offices everywhere. We should be making sure each other are doing great, because, you know, if I'm taking a plane trip, I want to know that my fucking pilot is treated good and he's not about to commit suicide with me on his fucking plane, you know? So you got to hook up people, make sure that everyone's doing good. And then same thing with like buying guns is, you know, it should almost be treated like a truck license. Like licensing to drive a vehicle is to get a class A license to drive the bigger truck. Same thing for like maybe automatic weapons, or I mean semi-automatic weapons. But if they treated it like that, where to get one of those, the semi-automatic guns, you had to pass a mental health test and maybe a accuracy test, among other things, is it, you know, that should be how everything is treated. I'm not saying that criminals can't get the gun and still do the fucking shit anyways, but I'm just saying that there's a way to keep violence down and people happy, because it's about happiness. It's not about who has the most money, because even people with money can be unhappy. So make sure that you're happy first. That's what we, the people, need to make sure of, is that we're happy. We're not doing a job for money because I need to pay the bills, but I fucking hate that job. You know, that's not how this should work. How this should work is that I do this because I love it. I have a passion for it, and it allows me to live the life I need. And if we all lived like that, then we'd see a better world. It's almost like pay it forward. If you have one person help out 3 people, and each of those 3 people helped out 3 more people, you would have a world of people helping out other people. I think that's what we need right now, is we need more heroes. And I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I should be more of a hero, and I'm just trying my best every day to be more like that I can, and that's why I'm doing this for you right now. Everything I do, it's for you, motherfuckers. Love y'all. Mwah. Alright, y'all. I think it's been a good chat with y'all motherfuckers. I hope you're doing good, and stay safe. Stay clean, and know that Duck loves you. Peace. Boom! I got some new freshness for y'all bitches. Check out my new song Plandemix by yours truly.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. The World Health Organization has now confirmed what many epidemiologists have been saying for weeks. The coronavirus is a pandemic. There are now more than 120,000 known cases in 114 countries. The Prime Minister has ordered all businesses to shut down except grocery stores and pharmacies. The number of cases is growing quickly in Spain, France, Germany, and the UK tonight. Hungary has declared a state of emergency, and India today put tight border controls in place and canceled all tourist and business visas.
Now the world's on lockdown, got us under quarantine. I can't watch the clock count when nothing's guaranteed. It's the sickness from within and it lives beneath the skin. Wickedness, it's looking grim, like a fight we'll never win. And the media's been making people freak the fuck out. No more toilet paper, grocery stores are being stripped down till they're bare. Everybody feeling scared, they declared a global state of emergency, so be prepared. It's unfair, recession making people fall into despair. The rich don't get it, no, they don't care. They're not the people who are hurting everywhere. Medicare, keeping people living in a dim nightmare. I never thought it would come to this. Everything is shut down, fuck, I'm pissed. I just hope my grandma gets a chance to scratch us off her bucket list and just exist. In the midst of this, we must resist, duck insist. COVID-19, going rogue in my dreams. Man, I hope that I see all the folks on my team use the soap and stay clean. Smoke some dope and daydream. Stay away from mainstream, cause they make the pain seem like it's coming for you. Make it feel like something sorta out of order. Lock your doors and close the borders. Raid the stores and take what's yours, your reward. Say goodbye to ski resorts. Get too big to be ignored. Freedom needs to be restored. This is war.
It spreads like the flu. Impossible. Fine. Go to the hospital, check it out yourself. Go without a mask, you see more clearly. You got 19 dead, you got hundreds more infected, and it's spreading like a brush fire. You gotta isolate the sick, and I mean really isolate them, Billy. We gotta get everybody else back into the houses. We gotta keep them there. We're doing that, Sam. No, we're not doing it because I just drove through 100 people. And if one of them has got it, then 10 of them have got it. We're in deep fucking shit.
This is it. These are the last days. Are you listening? Is it just the way you envisioned it? Live to get rich and split, lifted like a vindicate. But they benefit off people when they're sick. They don't have the etiquette, they're so low, they desolate. About to blow, they're desperate, inducing the new deficit. I see through you, I said it, bitch, I meant it too. I hate the rich, at least the ones controlling shit. It's time to go and load the clip, let's focus it. To the ones who bought the votes again, replace them with the real ones who don't pretend. Bring the hope again, no for real, can you really comprehend? I don't mean to condescend, but you need to not depend on nobody but yourself. Watch for sickness, watch for health. Not for riches, not for wealth. Not for real, this is our hell. I just hope you lived it well. Where it goes, I cannot tell. I'm the ghost within the shell. Lock the doors and bid farewell. Cause the truth is, it is me, the disease that lives inside us. And my music sets you free. Watch it spread through like a virus. Come closer, check the iris. Now the way you look is priceless. It's kinda like you're lifeless, and your eyes are like a crisis. When the duck man says it, it's a fucking pandemic. Gonna want a damn medic. This is fucking angelic, and I'm sick. I'm sick of you, I'm sick of me. I'm sick of all this, sick of we. Sick of tyrants, sick of greed. Sick of violence, set me free.
In the midst of all of this that's going on, just remember that the coronavirus is you, right? And what I mean when I say that is that it doesn't make you panic. It doesn't drive you crazy. It doesn't push you to do extreme things. It makes you sick, right? But it shouldn't drive you to panic. It shouldn't drive you to overreact. It shouldn't drive you to racism. It shouldn't drive you to bullying. It shouldn't drive you to profiteering and price gouging and all of the things that you see. That's human nature, right? That's the nature of humanity coming out. That is the disease in us as human beings that never goes away. That is our greed and our selfishness, and us kind of overreacting. Don't allow that to happen, right? As this thing grows and gets a little more out of hand, remember that Corona is what you make it. If you make it a crazy, panic-driven, fear-filled thing, then that is what it will be. The disease isn't just the disease itself, it's also the reaction to the disease. And in some cases, for most of us, what we'll be experiencing is the reaction to the disease, right? So make sure that you are disciplined, that you're being sensible, that you're being consistent. Make sure that you're being vigilant, but don't go crazy, right? Don't start to panic. Don't start to over-exaggerate things. Don't get caught up in myths and rumors and things of that nature. It's not necessary. Don't let this stress you out to the point where you start doing crazy things. It's something that, is happening, is going to continue to happen. Embrace that, but also be prepared.
Huh? Is this thing on? Are we recording? Oh shit, motherfuckers! We back up in this motherfucker! Whoop, whoop. What the fuck was that? You're a weird ass motherfucker, Duck. I like you, but you crazy.